Morning. So it is a wet grey day here in Yorkshire, but that doesn't mean that there aren't jobs to be done. So I thought I would show you the things that I'm going to get done this morning that are inside, outside, just cracking on, always doing something small, even when it's a bit too slippy to be up at the field, and the weather certainly isn't enticing to be out doing flowery digging, weeding or any of those things. So I often show you things that are not particularly exciting. These are buckets of water that are sat around outside. They're not entirely useless. So these buckets of water I'm going to take into our tunnel. I'm going to use them to water our tulips that are in there. They need loads of water to establish their roots, to get nice strong stems, and they're starting to come up, which is super exciting. So that's what I'm going to do next. So there you go. The tulips have had some buckets of water, and then I'm just doing a quick survey of our crops. There's a few poppies that went in early. There's a bit of damage from mice. You can see that someone's been digging this up. You can see here as well that someone has been digging overnight. So I'll be putting some more chili flakes out. These were our first set of Ranunculus. They've done really well. Again, you can see that Mr. Mousy has been in my tunnel. So a bit more chili flakes probably going in there. And then over on this side, we have annuals, hardy annuals. And again, you can see here that someone has been digging. I mean, there's nothing particularly exciting on this side, but lots of hardy annuals, lovely and green. I gave them a feed earlier this week, just a week's seaweed feed, because our calcium feeds and other feeds aren't ready yet, but they will be soon, which is super exciting. Now, down the middle here, we had a trial. I probably did this trial too late, so it wasn't warm enough for these Ranunculus to get going. So they've all gone mouldy and got botrytis, which is really sad. I think it's really sad for a couple of reasons. I'm just going to turn the screen around. So it is sad because it's a waste of money, and all of our money is hard earned, like yours. So that is the reason that I find it particularly sad. But the other thing is that it was meant to be our third succession of Ranunculus. So I don't think there'll be a gap, because we have Ranunculus in here and we have Ranunculus that are in the garden outside, and then we have another set that is just doing its thing, propagating or kind of sprouting in the bathroom, and they're doing really well. The rain is tremendous, which is, exciting enough. I'm just looking up. Oh look, I can see me. Let's try and turn it this way. Our polytunnel is new to us. It's starting to get a little bit of algae on the top. That wasn't my best bit of filming, never mind. So we need to work out how to get that cleaned. It's probably too cold to do it now. I don't want to damage the plastic, but just need to be mindful that I don't want it to get caked in algae, because that will stop the light getting through and it will damage the plastic as well. So good morning everyone. I am back in the polytunnel today. It's a super windy day, which is brilliant, because I really need to do some watering in here. The last time I was in here, I didn't complete the film because I wanted to show you what happened next. So I have taken out the Ranunculus that were in the middle that have gone mouldy. For flower farmers out there, that is a waste of about £70. So it's quite a lot, and I'm not best pleased by it. But I also have to be realistic. There's no point in me saying, I'll keep them just in case, when I can see that evidently they are mouldy. So they're out. It also means that I have space in the middle of my tunnel. So I'm really reticent to fill that space again, because there's nothing to trip over. This is a tiny tunnel, but a bit like everything we can do, you can fit quite a lot into it, even without taking up the middle space. So I think what's likely to happen next, behind me, where you can see the wooden pallet over the end, and that's there to stop foxes coming in, but to keep good airflow, we're probably going to put one of those kind of rickety greenhouses. We've got a few of the ones that you cover with plastic, put one of those there, so that things that don't need to be in the greenhouse but still need a bit of protection and don't fit in our cold frames because they're all full, can go in there. Can go on there, or some of them anyway. So that's a better use of that space at the end, and then we'll see, as that kind of early season when there's a real shuffle going on, there's not enough space for seedlings, it's too cold to get stuff out, or we'll see. I might have to try and use some floor space in here then, but it'll be a really dangerous game doing that, because everything that's on the floor is at risk of me kicking it and knocking it over, and obviously that's a bit of a disaster. Anyway, onwards to the tunnel. I'm just going to turn the camera around. So this is the Ranunculus bed that we have in the tunnel. You can see that the first ones that went in are here, and they're doing really well. You can see there's chili flakes all over the ground, just trying to keep out the mice, and you can see that there is evidence of mice here. Like, mice and slugs are my biggest enemy, and the reason that I'm going to water today is because it's windy outside, but also when I stick my finger in, it's still super dry. Okay, so my soil is dry, and I've been waiting. I knew that it was dry, but I really wanted to wait until it was a bit windy outside, so that I didn't get too much mold and damage to my leaves. So this is the other thing that I wanted to show you today. There is a film that is going to go up on YouTube about this probably later on today. This is my first amendment, so not an American type amendment, but a soil amendment. So this is a calcium amendment made with vinegar and eggshells. We are trying so hard to use up what we have. I'm going to turn the camera around, like some yellow liquid and the eggshells that are going to go on the compost tea. Essentially, one of the things that we have learnt is that we really need to provide enough nutrition to our plants, and part of that is through the soil. So we're working really hard on making our own compost, but that takes time, and we're working really hard on growing or making feeds that come from our waste products. So nettles in our field are a waste product as far as I'm concerned. Eggshells are a waste product, and then a few others that we're going to work on to see if we can work with the local fishmonger, who I know has waste products, so why don't we use them, and so on and so forth. So that's what we're working on, partly because our flowers need the food, partly because we're trying to reduce the amount of waste. That was a whole purpose in silver grey foliage starting. I wanted to reduce the amount of foliage waste, and I know that the florists that have had our foliage posted and locally haven't wasted any, because it's top quality and it's freshly grown and it's travelled very, very, very little. So it's good stuff. That's why we should be doing it. Anyway, I am going to use this amendment. So the guidance is 1 tablespoon per watering can, and then you put it on. I've never done it before. Calcium is supposed to be good for roots and for early cell development. There's a whole video on it. I'll post it shortly. So yeah, have a look, see what you think. So what I should have said before that is that I water first and I feed second. So I'm not being particularly generous with the water. I'm watering with a watering can. I'll show you. So this is my watering can. We have got through a number of these over time. We do have irrigation down, but I don't want to overly soak these. So 1 watering can will make it through about a quarter, so 1/2 of one of these beds of flowers. So 1 watering can to about a quarter is what we're doing. So I've already done the other quarter. I'm going to move this side. Look, this is my Yorkshire Woman's amendment. I am so fed up of buying ends for watering cans, because they all break. If anybody's got any recommendations, please send them my way. Thank you. Okay, so the only area of our tunnel where we've experienced losses because of the cold is here. This was a trial. I've never grown it before, so I put it under some protection, and we just did 4 rows in the tunnel. So 20 plants, but actually 20 plants will give you hundreds of stems if you look after them. And they haven't done well, so those are coming out today, now that I can get to them, now that I've moved the stuff out of the middle. So that is the benefit of not being too greedy with my space. And I've got some more of these lovely things, some more scabious, ready to go into that space there. Okay, so I'm finished in the tunnel for this morning. I just thought I'd show you these, which are very exciting. Tulips! Tulips are on the way, and this is actually the only area of the tunnel that I have watered regularly, despite the weather. So there you go, a tour of our tiny tunnel and some work this morning, and just finishing off where we got to last week so that you can see what happens step by step, and how we've broken stuff down, what we're considering to be important this season, and new habits that we're getting in place. So the new habits are about feeding, about making our own amendments, about composting near where we're working, so that it's good for our back, it's a bit more lean, and it's just a bit more efficient and consistent, and something that we're likely to do, whereas when it's further away, we don't do it so well. So working on that, really working on that to do it well.